Hey, vinyl community, it's Dwayne Rockin' Doc coming at you with another YouTube video. This time I'm going to show you some stuff that I picked up about a week ago on my visit to Edmonton to see my eye doctor. So while I was there, I hit the usual record stores that I hit up. First off, I stopped at Record Collector's Paradise. They probably have the most extensive collection of used records probably in Western Canada. And I have to say this time I had some extra cash because I sold some rare Rolling Stones bootlegs I had. So I had some little extra money and I went a little crazy. Anyways, here's some of the stuff I got while I was there. First off, this is a new sealed one. The Seeds, their third album. That's a 2017 reissue of their third album from 1967. I was actually looking for their first two, but I couldn't find those, so I took this one instead, which is weird because I've never had any Seeds album my entire life. I've never bought any Seeds album, and I don't know why. But it was time to pick up some 60s classics. Also got this one from the Vickers. It's called Psychotic Beat, and this is a blind buy. I've heard of the Vickers, but I've never heard anything by them. But they're a 2016 UK garage rock. This album called, I think I told you already, Psychotic Beat. And like I said, I don't know much about these guys other than I was pretty sure they're a garage band, and you can sort of tell by looking at the cover. And they're on the Dirty Water record label, which always puts out some great stuff, so I took a chance on that and picked it up. When I got to mention too, like a lot of stuff that I've gotten recently, I haven't had time to listen to it, so most of this stuff I haven't listened to yet. Here's another one, another blind buy that I picked up just because the cover looks like it'd be something awesome. This is Fortune and Maltese and the Fabulous Pallbearers. I'm assuming that this and this guy are Fortune and Maltese, and those are the Fabulous Pallbearers. This is a 90s garage rock band from Detroit, and once again, like I said, a blind buy, took my chance. Still haven't heard it, but it's on the Scream and Apple label, and I always have good luck with finding some great stuff from that label. Here's one that I saw on somebody else's YouTube channel, and I think it was a guy from the UK who said that this was an awesome power pop album. This is the only album they ever released. They're a UK power pop band from 1978, and the guy was right. It is an awesome power pop album. I listened to it. The only thing I didn't like was on the last song on side one is a really slow, sappy ballad. I could have done without that. Otherwise, it's a great album. It's called The Dodgers, and I forget what the album's called. Oh, The Dodgers, Love on the Rebound. Also got this one, the sensational Alex Harvey Band, Rock Drill. This is their last album from 1978 with a new keyboard player. And this is, you might remember one of my older videos, I showed you the sensational Alex Harvey Band without Alex, that album. Alex had left the band. He left for about a year or a year and a half, and he came back, and they did this album. And then after this was released, he left again, and the band kind of split up. But I think this is the only album, the regular albums. There was a whole bunch of live albums and compilations and that were put out after the band split up. But I think out of the regular albums, this is the last one I had to get. So I do believe my Sensational Alex Harvey Band collection is now complete. And that one actually you don't see around very often. Got some 60s stuff too from these guys. I've been looking for these guys for a while, the Ohio Express. This is their Chewy Chewy album. And I also got this one, they're self-titled. This is the second and third album, I believe. And I also got the fourth one, Mercy. And I just got lucky. I've been, like I said, I've been looking for a while, and these are hard to find. And these are a bubblegum pop band from the 70s. Both their second and third albums were released in 68, sorry. And their fourth one, which I believe was their last one, was released in 69. And I'm still looking for, because I haven't got it, is their first one, Beg, Borrow, and Steal, from 67. And you may remember that I got this in Saskatoon, this album from a guy in Saskatoon I showed you last time. But that one was in kind of rough condition, and I'm hoping this one is, and the cover is anyway so far. I haven't played the vinyl, but I'm hoping it's in much better condition. So, Ohio Express. 3 of their albums. And here's another one that's hard to find. I've been looking for a while. I'm sorry for the glare because I didn't want to take it out of the shrink. It's in pretty fragile condition. This is the soundtrack to The Wild Angels. And I believe this was out in the late 60s, 68 or 69, and featured Peter Fonda and Nancy Sinatra, along with Bruce Dern was in that movie. And like I said, this is in pretty bad condition. You probably can't see it, but this whole top seam is split, and it's one of those seams that doesn't have the edges on it, because usually you can just glue those back on. This is just I guess the way they made this album was put the two sheets together and then put a piece of paper, sticky paper over the edges to put it together. So I'm not going to be able to glue it like I normally do, so I might have to try and get some invisible tape and tape it. I hate putting tape on albums, but if you can do it well enough where it's hard to see. And somebody's already done it some in the corner here. There's a piece of tape holding the bottom because it's starting to split on the bottom too. Anyways, it's a first copy for me. I'll keep an eye out to see if I can find a better copy, but like I said, you don't see these around very often, and it's mostly instrumental, and I think Davey Alvin and the Arrows do most of the music on this thing. And then I picked up a couple more albums from a band that I saw their video on another YouTube channel, and the guy said it was really good, so I picked up that one, which I believe was their third album when they changed their name. They shortened their name to just Cat Mother. They used to be known as Cat Mother and the All Night Newsboys, and this is their first album from '69, and it's a kind of a bluesy country rock folk kind of thing. So I got that one, and it's called The Street Giveth and the Street Taketh Away. And then I also got this one because they had this one too. I'll Be on Doo-Wah, and this came out in 1970. And I picked this one up too. The second, the second album from Detective from 1977, and they're kind of a radio friendly kind of hard rock band. And if they continue on kind of the same kind of sound that they had in their first album, they had a sound that was a bit like Zeppelin. So I haven't heard this one. This is their second one. It's called It Takes One to Know One. Got another copy of this. I had a copy before, and I forget what this one's called. We're No Angels. This is a band called The Dudes, featuring Bob Segrini after he left the Whackers and before he went solo. And you can see in the back, there's a band there, a couple of guys that went on to become April Wine. But like I said, I had a copy of this before, but it was warped, and it wouldn't play very well. So I haven't listened to this one. I hope it's fine, but the cover's in good shape. It's still in the shrink. So hopefully this one's better than the last one. The Dudes. And here's another blind buy. I have no idea who these guys are. They're called The Cats. This album's called Portrait. And I just bought this one because it had a little sticker up here in the corner that said Dutch pop psych band, and I looked it up, and they're from the 60s and 70s, and this is a comp from the 1970. When I was there, they also had, I think, about 3 other albums by these guys, but I took this one because it's got a neat jacket on it. Folds open. This is all in Dutch, so I have no idea what it says, but give it a listen. Hope it's good. The Cats. And then I saw this one. I'd never heard of these guys before, but you remember the last video or the one before, I showed you some UK label samplers that I picked up, and these guys were on one of those. The one that was albums produced by Mickey Most. It was called the Most Collection, and they had 2 tracks on there, and they did Zeppelin's Whole Lot of Love, and I really liked it. So I saw this and I decided to pick it up. I listened to a bit of it, and they also on this one they do a version of Black Dog, which is really different than like the Zeppelin version. But this is their second album from 1972, and it was originally a band formed by Alexis Corner, and he used a whole bunch of various studio musicians, and the music is kind of jazzy rock, blues, classic rock kind of mixture. So this is CCS, and I forget what that stands for. No, I don't think. No, it doesn't tell. Oh, and this is a radio promo. It's not a white label promo, but it's got the radio cue strip on it. So CCS. More 60s stuff. This is the Ripcords with Hey Little Cobra. And this is their second album from 1964. And they're kind of a surf, hot rod, pop rock band. And they had the hit with Hey Little Cobra that went to number 4 in the Billboard charts. So there you have some hot rod stuff from the Ripcords. Then I picked up some classic rock albums that I had to put back into my collection because I sold them long time ago. So I decided that this time I picked some stuff up that I had to put back. The Go-Go's, Vacation. Picked up some Cheap Trick in color. Heaven Tonight. and Dream Police. Not one of their better albums, but still, I liked it. I like it. And these two still have the original inners in them with pictures of the boys. Although the in color doesn't have the original inner. Well, anybody that's been watching any of my videos knows how much I like compilation albums. So I picked up some more, as I usually do whenever I can. This one's kind of neat. This is a German 5 LP compilation. It's called The Fabulous 60s and 70s Pop History. And it was really cheap. I was surprised for 5 albums how cheap it was. But it's, I don't know if you can see it very good there, but this is a lot of the radio stuff that I listened to when I was a youngin'. So all this stuff is pretty familiar, should be familiar to most people. What's on here that everybody Hooked on a Feeling, Yellow River, me and You and a Dog Named Boo, Do Wah Diddy, Bus Stop, Needles and Pins, Friday on My Mind, Pictures of Matchstick Men, In the Summertime, Judy in Disguise, stuff like that. A whole bunch of great stuff from the 60s and early 70s. Then I found this one. This is a compilation of singles that were on the Bomp label. And from their first 4 years, it says right there. And it's really hard to read because it's got that yellow printing on top of the, so it's hard to tell. You have to look really closely, but this comp features stuff like 2020. Who else is on here? The Poppies, Iggy and the Stooges, Venus and the Razor Blades, the Weirdos, the Zeros. Lots of great early stuff on here. And there's this one. This one's still in the shrink. It's a compilation called The History of Surf Music, and this is Volume 3, The Revival 1980 to 1982. And there was 2 other ones, I guess, in the series, and I saw them there at Record Collector's Paradise, but I didn't pick them up. I thought I'd just get one of them, see what it was like. The other 2, I think one was vocals and one was instrumental. But this one has a lot of bands on it that I've heard of before, such as the Surf Punks, John and the Night Riders. Who else is on here? The Surf Raiders. So this should be interesting stuff. Maybe when I go back at the end of the month again for another eye doctor appointment, I'll pick up the other 2 if this one's good. Then I also got this one. This is a Canadian label, owned by Capitol Records, I believe. And there's a lot of Canadian stuff. There's not exclusively Canadian stuff, but there's a lot on this album. Proven Blooms. And it's got stuff like Flood, Crowbar, Christmas, A Foot in Cold Water, King Biscuit Boy. That's some of the Canadian stuff. And then it also has a couple of tracks from Humble Pie and Small Faces and The Nice and a couple other guys I don't know who they are. So that's Proven Blooms from the Daffodil Records label. And then I got this one. This was the last of the comps I picked up. And I picked this one up because I remembered I needed Volume 6. So this is Volume 6. But unfortunately, forgot which compilation album or series it was from. This is from the highs in the 60s, and I already have this one. It's volume 6 of the Nuggets that I still need. So I left the price tag on this, and I'll just sell it for the price I paid for it. And I have to say, I love Record Collectors Paradise, don't get me wrong. They're a great store. But one thing that really annoys me about them, and a lot of stores do it, and I know the reason why, it's for theft purposes, but they put their price tags on the right on the jacket, and they use price tags that stick really well. I didn't have any luck getting this one off. I tore a piece of the record sleeve off trying to get that price tag off. But usually they're hard to get off, but if you be patient and take your time, you can usually get them off. There'll be some goop left, or some what do they call that? Residue left. But I use a cleaner called Goop Off, and I use that to get the residue off. And if they happen to put them on records that have the shrink on, they come off real easy on the shrink, but they do not come off very easy on the jackets. If anybody knows a better way to get them off, let me know down in the comments. I've tried that. I've heard guys say use a hair dryer. I tried that a couple of times. I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it didn't work very well for me. I didn't have much of an easier time getting these price tags off with the hairdryer thing. Anyways, that was it for Record Collectors Paradise. I went to another store called Blackbyrd Myoozik in Edmonton that I don't normally go to. They're on the other end of town, and I'm usually, the record stores I go to are on the opposite end. But I'd been in there the time before when I was in Edmonton, and I asked them to put away, I asked if they were getting in the new album by Myoozik and the Spanks. They're a Calgary band. And they said, yeah, we are. We're getting it in next week, they said. And I said, well, can you put a copy away? I'll be back the end of May. And they said, sure, we'll do that for you. And thank you for doing that. So I picked that up when I was there. I still haven't opened it. They're kind of a garage, power pop-ish kind of band. Once again, from Calgary, they're a duo. And I'm not sure if these guys are married or not, or they just play in the band together. But Myoozik and the Spanks, and the new album's called Unconditional Love in Hi-Fi. And I think actually they just went over to Europe to do a tour over there. They played Calgary not too long ago, but that's quite a ways for me to go. So I'm hoping someday this summer maybe they'll play in Edmonton, because that's a lot closer for me, or Saskatoon. And while I was at Blackbyrd, I picked up another reissue from Reverend Horton Heat, and this is a reissue of his first album that came out in 2000, called Spend a Night in a Box. So they've been, the last year or so, they've been reissuing a lot of the older titles. There's a picture of the band there. Still sealed. I haven't opened it yet and listened to it. And according to the sticker here, it's on gold vinyl. And these were some, I had these from the last time I was in Edmonton, and I forgot to show it last time, so I'll just go run through them real quick, because this is getting kind of long, this video. I picked up some singles. Grand Funk Railroad, the Foot Stompin' Myoozik on the original sleeve. More in original sleeves. Greaseball Boogie Band. Which one is this? Bebop Alula. And then the Crickle with their big hit Red Rubber Ball in the regular company sleeve. And I remember the first time I went to Vancouver when I was 13, I think, at the time. And I went to visit my grandparents in Vancouver. And this song, Red Rubber Ball, was playing on the radio all the time. And I forget what year that was. It might have been 1963, maybe. Then I got a couple of Frigid Pinks. We're going to march. What's this one called? We're going to march. We're going to be there when Johnny comes marching home. And then another Frigid Pink, Slooney. And I picked up a couple of the Guess Who in sort of generic sleeves, Shaking All Over. And Share the Land. And I picked up this one. They're called the Fuzz, so I figured, oh great, lots of fuzz guitar and Farfisa organ and the whole works. This ought to be amazing. They're not a garage rock band. They're a sweet, mellow, sugary soul band. But they're not too bad. I like it, so not what I thought it was going to be, but still a good single. Anyways, that's it for this time. Once again, if you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get told when I do another video. And I have some stuff on the way. I'll probably have another video soon with some mail order stuff, so that'll probably be in a week or so. So keep an eye out for that. Anyways, stay healthy and we'll see you next time.